Yeah, guys, good evening. So, last class, what and all we discussed, guys? Hmm? In our last class, what and all we discussed?
Template clone.
Yeah. So, what is the template and what is the clone? The difference between clone and template?
Cloning is nothing but duplicating the VM,
Perfect.
and template is just same kind of golden image of VM,
The exact copy or golden image of that?
golden image of VM.
Yeah, yeah. So, the main difference between clone and template? Speak out, no problem. The main difference between clone and template is the cloned VM you can use, but the template you can't use. Template don't have the VM state. It is like a image. It's like a file that is called, what is the VM file name? The VM name dot vmtx. This is the template file. So once the VM is converted as a template, at that time, that file name looks like this. And during our last class, we have seen how to do the cloning of the VMs. And we have seen how to convert the VM to template and how to create a multiple virtual machines from the existing template. Okay. And during that cloning or template, through the template cloning, so if we have some little bit changes from the existing image, existing VM, we have seen how to change the RAM, CPU, hardware, RAM, CPU, hard disk under hardware configuration. And we have seen how to change the operating system under operating system configuration changes process, right? So this is what we had seen in our last class, right? I hope this is clear for each and everyone. Hmm? Why? Because in real time, they will ask you how to, like, what is the template or how to create the template, how to create the clone, what is clone, the difference between clone and template. Just have a look into the material for further information. Okay. And today we are going to cover a very, very important topic that is called cluster. What? Cluster. It's looks like very simple, but if you're coming into the infrastructure, okay, if you're coming into the infrastructure, it is not going to show you the cluster name wherever you go. I was telling earlier, right? So if you are logging into this infrastructure, just check. How many are there? As I told you guys, this is the vCenter. This is the vCenter. Just a minute. And this is the data center. This both are like, this is like a logical. Data center is nothing but some building name will be there. Okay, as per the data center name, we will put it here. Like if the physical servers locating in UK, you will mention UK region. You will mention some as per the customer requirement. So naming terminology. Okay. So under that, if you have, if you wanted to create a cluster, you will create a cluster. So cluster looks like this. The ESXi looks like one CPU picture, and the cluster is nothing but with the multiple ESXis, only 3 ESXis. This is the cluster symbol, the logical symbol. So if you are getting an opportunity to install the ESXi's in your infrastructure or in your organization, you will install the ESXi's, and as per the, if you have two clusters, this is for Linux servers. So they will inform you that after ESX installation, add it back to the vCenter under Linux cluster. So you will just right click and you will add the host. So here the installed ESXi IP address or name and the root and password you will provide. So probably that ESXi will install, add here, add on here. Okay. And now we need to see what is the cluster. Okay. As I told you guys, we have seen earlier stating that I have shown you some presentation, right? So let me show you again. Yeah. See here, automatic resource assurance. What is happening? The red highlighted here, you're seeing, right? This one and this one. These are red highlighted virtual machines. Like these VMs are getting more RAM and CPU. Okay. So if those are getting more RAM and CPU, probably what it will do the dynamic balancing for the continuous optimization. So it is getting more RAM and CPU. Probably remaining two VMs will not get the enough RAM and CPU. So the VMware vCenter feature that is called cluster, it will do this live optimization. To work on this one, we need to enable one option that is called DRS. I will explain now. And another one, increase the availability. If any ESXi is getting down within that cluster, that VMs will restart in another VSXi. This is also under the cluster. And on-demand capacity. For an example, if you will add new ESXi, automatically these VMs will balance where the ESXi is running with the more VMs. So once the new ESXi added into the cluster, those VMs will rebalance. This is also a very flexible and reconfigurable without any administrator intervention. Is that clear, guys? Is that clear? Yes, no. Guys, I'm asking you. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
So, cluster. So, as I told you, cluster is nothing but it's a vCenter feature, guys. I would like to say that it's a vCenter feature. And under this cluster, we do have two options. How many we have? Two options. So this cluster looks like, as I told you, cluster looks like three CPU picks as a logical picture for cluster. Okay. So in interview, they will ask you what is cluster. So we need to say cluster is nothing but it's a safeguard of the three CPUs. What it has been. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I need that kind of attention. Even I am not a regular guy, right? Three CPUs picture. Okay, it looks like this, as I told you. Hmm? And very simple. Cluster is nothing but it's a safeguard. See why we will call safeguard. While driving, we will wear the helmet, right? So helmet is nothing but it's a safeguard. So if you will fall down also, it will safeguard your head, right? So like that, cluster is a safeguard for the ESXis to keep the VMs alive. Okay, if you have only one ESXi, right? If you have only, excuse me, if you have only one ESXi and it here some what 10 100 virtual machines are running, and if this ESXi goes failed, the failures are we will get from anywhere, any scenario, such like if the ESXi is residing on one physical server, if this physical server, motherboard, or left control panel, or right control panel, power socket issue, fan issue, any issue will cause the ESXi failure. It will go down, or this ESXi OS issue. Because of that, also it will go down. So at the time, how about this 100 VMs status, right? So this is the host which is providing the RAM and CPU to these 100 VMs. So to avoid this failure, we have a cluster feature. Under this cluster, we do have two options. Okay, so those two options are very, very important. And if you are going to any interview without these two options, none of the interview is going to be happen. Trust me. Okay, so here we have two. Okay, two. First one is DRS. It means distributed resource scheduler. Okay, distributed resource schedule. And another one is HA high availability. It's very simple word. We have two features. So in real time, where we need to locate them now, see, you need to select the cluster. And if you're going to configure, here you can see the two options under the first service part. This cluster have two services, okay? To secure the virtual machines, to safeguard the ESXis, we have two options. The first one is a vSphere scheduler, and second one is vSphere availability. That is called vSphere HA. Okay. So whenever you will open the practice session, these two will be in turned off state, disabled state. You need to turn on. Why? Because it's a regular practice exercise, so that you will get to know. That's the reason VMware also recommend us to do the enable option every time whenever you are going to log in. But in regular real time scenarios, these two will be in turned on state. Those two will be on turned on state. And now let's go and see the first option, that is called vSphere DRS, vSphere Distributed Resource Scheduler. Again, I'm telling guys, DRS and HA both are cluster services. Without two options, the cluster won't no use. Okay, so now let's go back to the this session. See now it says clearly a distributed resource scheduler, guys. It means distributed resource scheduler. Now, I have some 100 rupees and your people are there with me, 5 people. Okay. I need to distribute the amount. Okay. So 100 rupees means 100 by 2. How much it will come? 10 rupees. So I need to distribute. So I am here DRS. Okay. So to whom I need to provide the proper amount equal wise. So I need to distribute and I need to schedule, right? In the same manner, in our infrastructure, if you have, just a minute, if you have two ESXIs, okay, and here some 50 VMs are there, here some 30 VMs are there. And these two are connected to the cluster under the vCenter. And now you enable under the cluster DRS. DRS. When you enable this DRS option, okay, when you will enable this DRS option, this DRS configuration file will store, will install in vCenter, and from this vCenter, this DRS file will monitor these two ESXIs. See here, what is the RAM usage? It is the CPU usage. And VMware recommendation, the RAM and CPU and hard disk utilization should not go beyond 70%. Okay. See, if this ESXi is touching 70 and this ESXi running with only 50 GB percentage, at the time, this DRS will do the live migration of the VMs, some VMs to this ESXi to reduce the high utilization on this ESXi. In that way, a DRS will distribute the resources. So from where this DRS will monitor? Through vCenter. Keep it in your mind. Okay. So once you enable the DRS, that DRS file will install in the vCenter file, vCenter platform. From this vCenter, it will monitor. So it will do two ways. Two tasks it will do. What it does, one is it will do two tasks actually. One is monitor and migration. Two options it will. But here we have to set up a we have to set up a automation. You can see, right, automation level. It means some scenarios for some ESXIs. Now let me take an example. You have two ESXIs, and in one ESXi Linux VMs are there, in another ESXi Windows Linux Windows VMs are there, and you need to keep the VMs alive, like we all the times Windows VMs to be together, Linux VMs to be together, and you don't have another cluster, you don't have another ESXi, and clearly mentioning that the ESXi 1 should be run with ESXi Windows VMs. ESXi 2 should be run with the Linux VMs. So in this scenario, what we need to do, we need to keep the automation level as fully, partial, manual. Three options will be there. Okay. If you select the fully automation, so the DRS will monitor and DRS will do the live migration. As a being as a VMware administrator, you no need to do anything. Okay, as I said, some scenarios before migrating the VMs, we need to take the clarification. Either we need to migrate or not. So at that time, we will put partial option. At the time, DRS will monitor and it will give you the update alert where it will give if you are going to the infrastructure. So this is the cluster. If you will select the this one, you need to enable and you need to select partial. If you will select the partial, the DRS will monitor through vCenter and it will provide you the alert. Here it will provide you the alert. Here you will get the alert. Earlier I was getting the alert here for the vCenter, right? I just mentioned reset as a green. So in the same way, you will get the alert here. Here you will get. So at the time you will see what is that VM. Either we are okay to migrate that VM or not. According to that, you will take an action. So probably you have to enable the DRS and you need to mention automation level. So 100% wherever you go, you will put the fully automated and you will select. Okay. See, I just selected cluster configured, queued, completed. It means just now I enabled the DRS. Is that clear, guys? I'm
Yes,
asking.
Sumant.
Yeah, it's very simple. They will ask you what is DRS. They will ask you, could you please explain me about the cluster features, cluster services? So here is the DRS, one of the service. We have two options. So one is DRS and another one is HA. So DRS stands for Distributed Resource Scheduler. By seeing this naming convention itself, we can understand that. So this option will distribute and schedule the resources within the cluster. So whenever the VM's RAM and CPU utilization is very high, so this DRS will monitor from the vCenter level and it will do the live migration. Live migration without any interruption. The VMs will move to another ESXi wherever the RAM CPU utilization is very low. In that way, we can provide the VM better performance towards to the customer. That's it. Is that clear? Guys? Is
Yes.
that?
Yes, Sumant.
Yeah. And here we have three options actually. Not three options, DRS rules. So the DRS rules down these all additional options and all, you guys no need to worry. Here, no need to edit these all options. These are all our, how to say, by default. And power management, even this one also no need to power off, like turn on. I will tell you. Tomorrow I will tell you. Today I will touch base everything. DRS rules tomorrow I will tell you, but now I will touch base the things. Now, so DRS is turned on. Okay. And this tiny Linux VM is residing on where this VM is residing on ESXi1. And now you customer is asking, don't move this VM to anywhere. If you wanted to move, please let me know before you are going to do. But when you are keeping these VMs within this cluster along with ESXi, as per the DRS, these VMs will keep on migrating to the another ESXi, right? Correct? You got my question? You got my requirement? I'm asking you guys. Again, I'm asking. This ESXi, this ESXi1 and ESXi2 is running with 3 VMs. This tiny Linux VM, which is residing on Linux ESXi1, this VM customer is asking, don't move this VM anywhere. If you wanted to move, just let me know. Is that possible in the DRS? Yes or no?
I think no, Sumant.
It's possible, but we have to set up a rule. Okay, so we have that is called DRS rules. We call DRS rules. So you can't see this option actually. Option in the sense DRS rules option. You need to do like see, right click on this VM. Sorry. Under the cluster, under the configuration, you need to come down. Somewhere you will see the host rules. Yeah, VM and host rules. This is called DRS rules. VM and host rules. Now, my requirement, what is that? Any other rule. So here under the DRS, we have three options. Keep the virtual machines together, separate the virtual machines together, virtual machines to host, virtual machines to virtual machine. Now, my requirement, the particular tiny Linux VM should not migrate to another any ESXi, and it should stick with the particular host. We need to select that role. And we need to create the set up the VM group rule, and we need to set up the host group rule. That one I will show you tomorrow. Now I'm just touch basing, and customers will ask, you have some 50 VMs, and they will say, just these VMs should not like evacuate. This VM should not separate. All the time, these VMs should be in within one cluster, within one ESXi. And in that scenario, the DRS will help us to know with the RAM and CPU utilization. At the time, we need to get the approval from customer and we need to migrate them. And there is another option called separate the virtual machine. If you have 20 VMs and 10 VMs Windows VMs and 10 VMs Linux VMs, so we need to set up a rule. Customer will ask you, just don't club them, separate them all the times. We need to set up this rule. And third option is there, that is called virtual machines to virtual machine. This one no one will use. These three will use in a rare scenario. This one I will tell you tomorrow. Okay, guys, is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So now another option called, what is that pending? This is a big cake, big guy, high availability. HA stands for high availability. High availability means in a critical situation also, VM's availability, it will make sure will be on alive. That's the reason we used to call HA is nothing but it's a high availability. So probably before going to show you something from the infrastructure, I need to explain you more about this high availability. Okay, so let me make a diagram for you guys. ESXi 01 and ESXi 02 guys. So here Okay, so this is the infrastructure what we have. And here, as I told you, cluster feature will be there. That is called HA. Now, I will tell you HA. When you will enable the HA, at that time, this HA agent will be there. That is called FDM. You see, HA agent. Who is the agent for ESXi, guys? Who is the agent for ESXi?
Post-day.
Yeah. So in the same way, HA have the service called FDM. Means FA your default domain manager. So when you will enable the HA, you have two ESXi's, right? In one ESXi, in another ESXi, separate, FDM agents will go and install. First option. Okay. Then there is a election process. As we know, we all come across the childhood. During our childhood days, in our school, whenever the teacher is going out for some break, he will say to the team lead, not team lead, CPL, class leader, right? Primary guy, like who will do the very good homeworks, who will do the very good workouts all the time. So teacher will elect him as a class leader, primary guy, right? So that guy will monitor and he will note down the names of our whosoever having the glitch with him to get the bytes from teacher. Hmm? In the same way, when you will enable HA, the fault domain manager will install in each and every ESXi. And the second one is election process. Election process in the sense, these two ESXi's. One ESXi will elect as a master. We can call it as a master or primary. And another one, master, and another one is, I couldn't remember. Yeah, secondary we can call. There is a logical word. Tomorrow I will tell you guys. Master and okay. So election process depending upon two ways, guys. First one. So in these ESXIs, like in this vCenter, you have two ESXIs. One first ESXi when you will add to the vCenter at that time, one object ID will create for that ESXi. You can't able to see that. ESXi and vCenter knows that. Like we need to explain theoretical. Like if you will add ESXi 1, so that object ID will get like 1. Second ESXi you will add, right? That one will get 2. Here, who is the senior, guys? Hmm? Who is the senior? ESXi 1, right? Why? Because he only added into the vCenter family earlier. So that first ESXi will elect as a master. And second one as a elect as a secondary. Okay. And another election process is called based on data stores. So the based on data stores means, as you guys know, this ESXi, both are connected with the data store, right? It could be a ISC data store or FC data store. Just assume that this ESXi2 is connected with the two data stores. ESXi only connected with one data store, but ESXi2 connected with two data stores. So when you will enable HA, first this fault domain manager will install in each and every ESXi. And second one, the election process will start. So depending upon two ways. First way is based on maximum data stores. Whichever the ESXi is connected with the multiple maximum data stores, that ESXi elect as a master. If in your infrastructure only one data store is there and that is connected with all the ESXIs, so at that time, the second election process is called based on object ID, management object ID. Whichever the ESXi is connected to this vCenter earlier, that ESXi elect as a master. This is the procedure. So is that clear to you guys? Once the election process is completed, the one of the ESXi will elect as a master and another ESXi elect as a slave. Now I could remember. Slave or secondary. Okay, that one we used to call slave. Slave ante bhanisa. Okay, why? Because this ESXi, first ESXi will monitor. So now this is how we will enable the HA, and this is how the HA will start working. So now the background how it works, I will tell you. Very simple. So once the HA is enabled, just a minute, guys. Okay, once the HA and DRS elected, once HA is enabled, FDM will install and the master and slaves will be elected. Then what is the process? So this ESXi will do the self ping and it will communicate with the ESXi2. Like it will send the heartbeat messages, guys. What it will send? Heartbeat messages. Heartbeat pings, we can call it. Pings. It will send heartbeat pings. It will send to the neighbor ESXi and it will do the self ping also. So that ping will decide whether that ESXi is working fine or not. In case if that another ESXi, neighbor ESXi is not responding for these heartbeat messages, immediately it will inform to HA, fault domain manager. So then this ESXi2 fault domain manager is there, right? That fault domain manager will start restarting the VMs from this ESXi to another ESXi. Why? When you will send the heartbeat messages to the ESXi2, if the ESXi2 is not responding, probably this master ESXi will decide and it will come to the point stating that this ESXi2 is going to fail. Reason could be hardware failure or operating system failure. It's going to be failure. So let's take out all the virtual machines and keep it in another ESX. This is how the HA will works. You may think that you have two ESXIs, right? And the first ESXi, assume that this first ESXi itself not going to work properly. It will do the self ping, right? And it will understand that, yeah, I'm going to fail. Let's evacuate all the virtual machines from on my head to another ESXi. Then it will die. So HA probably, it's a reactive. If the ESXi is getting failed, before that, the VMs will migrate. This VMs will restart in another ESX. This DRS is a proactive. So earlier it will understand where the RAM and CPU utilization is very high. According to that, it will manage the VMs. This is all about HA and DRS, the first class. Tomorrow I will continue the second class. Is that clear to everyone? If you will say yes, I will show you live how this FDM will install and election master process. Shall I? Can I, guys? Please let me know. Yes, yes, okay. See now, see. HA. I'm just letting you know that once I will enable this HA here under the taskbar, first you will see cluster HA agent is installing. Then election process is ongoing. Just check whether those are going to be happened or not. I just enable the HA. Just okay. See, reconfiguring the cluster. Of configuring vSphere HA on cluster. See, 30%. We are configuring 30%. See, it's slow, but it should not. Something is wrong with this. Something is giving the alert. You can see yellow color one, right? Hmm. It should give the let me close this and let me reopen, guys. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, just go through and turn on the DRS and turn on the high availability in some time today. And please let me know now this reconfigure vSphere HA on the cluster. The next message here, it would be installing cluster HA agent, then election process. Just have a look and let me know tomorrow. And tomorrow we will continue this DRS pending up feature called DRS routes and the high availability features called we have very good two features. One is admission control. This one we need to check how it works and what is this admission control. And under the cluster, we have power management. This one. These two are very important. Remaining and all the options, you will not touch base actually. Okay. So we will continue tomorrow. So if you guys have any doubts for this today's class, please let me know. Guys, are we good for today?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Yeah, so post this call, just take some rest and just try to enable these two options and see how it works. So in DRS, you need to check the DRS automation rules, fully automated, how it works. You can see the definition, what I explained, it will be the equal one. And if you'll select partial automation, what is the exact definition and the manual. So most of the time you will go with fully automated or partial. Manual you will not keep, but for DRS license they will buy, and they will pause for some time if they don't wanted to use this DRS. So they will set up as a manual automation law. Okay, so just go through and let's connect back tomorrow for this continuous class. And this is the major uh, uh, topic actually, hardcore topic for the entire vSphere. Very simple. Within tomorrow class, you will get a more idea. I hope now you got 70%. Tomorrow we will see remaining. Tomorrow pending is DRS power management and vSphere admission control policies. And there is another option called EVC, enhanced vMotion. I will tell you. This is also comes under the cluster feature only, along with the host rules. Tomorrow I will discuss with you guys. Okay, if everything is fine, yeah, this is all about today's class, and we can connect tomorrow. Are we good? I think no one are responding. I will consider as okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good evening. Bye bye.